we say good morning to you and welcome to Cranberry Baptist Church, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers in attendance this morning. We'll recognize all the fathers here in just a moment, but at this time we'd like to recognize anyone who's visiting for the first time. If this is your first time at Cranberry Baptist Church, could you just let the ushers know by lifting your hand up? We have a packet of information we'd like to give you, and in there is a visitor's card that we'd love to have you fill out this morning. I don't see any first-time visitors, gentlemen. And at this time, I would invite you to stand to your feet if you're able. We're going to open up with a hymn here in just a moment after we pray. The song we're going to sing is number 255 in the hymnal, Praise Him, Praise Him. And I hope you'll lift up your voice this morning because He is worthy of praise. Our God is a wonderful God and a wonderful Father, and we'll lift up our praises to Him in just a moment. But would you join me in prayer first and ask for the blessing on the service this morning? Father, we do thank you for who you are and what you've done for us. We thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to this earth to die on the cross, not for his sins, for he was sinless. Lord, he died in our place. He became sin for us so that we could be reconciled to you and be made righteous. Lord, we thank you for salvation. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together this morning to lift up praises to you. Help us to sing from a joyful and a grateful heart. And as we celebrate Father's Day and honor the fathers in the room this morning, I pray that our hearts would be stirred. Lord, I pray that our attention ultimately would be drawn to you, that our perfect Father. And Lord, for all that you do for us, would you bless in every aspect of the service and have your will be done here today, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, 255 in your hymn books this morning. Let's turn there together. 255, let's sing it. Praise Him, praise Him.
Praise Him, Jesus our blessed Redeemer. Sing, O earth, His wonderful love proclaim. Hail Him, highest archangels in glory. Strength and honor give to His holy name. Like a shepherd, Jesus will guard His children. In His arms He carries them all day long. Praise Him, tell of His excellent greatness. Praise Him, ever in joyful song. Praise Him, Jesus our blessed Redeemer. For our sins He suffered and bled and died. He our rock, our hope of eternal salvation. Hail Him, Jesus the crucified. Shout His praises, Jesus who bore our sorrows. Love unbounded, wonderful, deep and strong. Praise Him, tell of His excellent greatness. Praise Him, ever in joyful song. Praise Him, Jesus our blessed Redeemer. Heavenly portals loud with hosannas ring. Jesus Savior, reigning forever and ever. Crown Him, prophet and priest and king. Christ is coming, over the world victorious. Power and glory unto the Lord belong. Praise Him, tell of His excellent greatness. Praise Him, ever in joyful song.
Wonderful singing. You may be seated at this time. We're thankful for our choir and praying for them as they sing this morning. Would you listen to the words of this song? It's entitled, He Looked Down.
sing this next song, His Robes for Mine, a wonderful exchange. The words are on the screen there. Let's sing it together. His robes for mine.
His robes for mine, a wonderful exchange. Clothed in my sin, Christ suffered 'neath God's rage. Draped in His righteousness, I'm justified. In Christ I live, for in my place He died. I cling to Christ and marvel at the cost. Jesus forsaken, God estranged from God. But by such love, my life is not my own. My praise, my all, shall be for Christ alone. His robes for mine, what cause have I for dread? God's daunting one, Christ mastered in my stead. Faultless I stand, with righteous words not mine, saved by my Lord's vicarious death and life. I cling to Christ and marvel at the cost. Jesus forsaken, God estranged from God. But by such love, my life is not my own. My praise, my all, shall be for Christ alone.
The piano will continue as the choir goes down. Let's greet one another this morning. Let's come back together and sing that last and final verse, verse number 4. His robes for mine, such anguish none can know.
His robes for mine, such anguish none can know. Christ God's beloved, condemned as though His foe. He as though I, accursed and left alone. I as though He, embraced and welcomed home. I cling to Christ and marvel at the cost. Jesus forsaken, God estranged from God. But by such love, my life is not my own. My praise, my all, shall be for Christ alone.
Amen. You may be seated at this time. And at this time, we'd like to recognize all of the fathers here with us this morning. If you are a father, would you please stand to your feet? We have a gift that we would like to give you, and we'll recognize you here with a round of applause as well. Let's give a round of applause to these gentlemen. And please stay standing until you receive your gift. Once you receive your gift, you may be seated. And we're thankful for all these men, for all the ones who aren't fathers and want to know, hey, what are those guys getting? Let me show you real quick if I can get this box open. It is a flashlight is what we're giving out. It does not say Cranberry Baptist Church. I'm just trying to blind this guy right down here. No. And does not say Cranberry Baptist Church on it. It says that on the box there. but we thought this would be something handy that you could use, and just a small token of our appreciation to you, just to honor all the fathers in attendance this morning. And we have some other fathers that we'd like to draw some special attention to, and we'll get to them in just a moment. It is such a privilege to be a father, and it's such a responsibility to be a father. And we're going to talk about that here in just a moment when we get to our study in the Word of God this morning. You know, fathers are called to be leaders and providers, protectors and directors, and what an awesome responsibility it is. And we want to recognize just a couple of fathers here this morning. And we'll first start off by saying that we'll have a gift here, and it's not just a box. Inside the box is a gift card to Lowe's. We figured, who can't use a gift card to Lowe's? You know, we went back and forth between Dunkin' Donuts and Lowe's, but we fell on Lowe's there. If it was for me, it would be Dunkin' Donuts, but we'd like to recognize the oldest father in attendance here this morning, the oldest father in attendance this morning. And so if you're a father over the age of 80, would you please stand if you're able? And if you're not able to stand, raise your hand. All right, Brother Bill's got his hand up back there, over the age of 80. We're going to jump to 83. 83 and older, stay standing, and all you young whippersnappers can sit down. All right? 85 and older, please stay standing. All right? If you're 87 or older, please stay standing. Oh, they're dropping like flies. Brother Bill, how old are you? 81. You were down a long time ago. I need those three guys who were just up a moment ago to stand back up. If you were one of the last three, to sit down so we can get this settled here. Okay? If you're 86 or older, please stay standing. 86 or older. And his brother Dave Riley. Mike, would you take this to Brother Dave? Give him a round of applause there. Next, we'd like to recognize the father who has the most children still in the home. In other words, that means it's the father that's going bald or gray the quickest, all right? The father who still has the most children in the home. I kind of think I might know who this is, but we'll see here in a second. If you have at least 5 kids still living at home with you, please stand. If you have at least 5 kids still living at home with you, please stand. And Walt, what do you have, 12 now, 13? You have 6. You have 6. Josh, how many kids do you have? 6, and they're older than Walt, so he deserves it more. No. Here, we got one for both of you. Brett, why don't you take one back there to Josh, and Nathan, take one to Walt here. 6 kids at home. And lastly, we'd like to recognize the grandfather with the most grandchildren. You might have to ask your wife here. We had a recount after we did this for Mother's Day. I had somebody come back to me later and say, no, I counted wrong. I had 3 more than I said, I think is what was said. But the grandfather with the most grandchildren, if you have at least, let's start with 10. If you have 10 grandchildren or more, would you please stand? 10 or more. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. And we'll just go to Brother Troy. How many do you have? 12? 14? 12? 17. Brother Les, would you take that back there to Brother Les, please? Let's give him a hand. Well, I'll ask our ushers to make their way forward to receive the offering here in just a moment. If they would start making their way forward, we want to remind you that there is an activity tomorrow for all the master clubbers who finished their books. And so you can find the details out in the bulletin, or you can see Brother Ty about that. The activity that was scheduled for Friday for the teens has been changed. So don't show up here on Friday with your teenagers. You can see Brother Jerry, and he'll give you the updated information if you don't have that already. And next Sunday, I want to invite everybody back, primarily for church. But after church, we're going to have a spaghetti dinner downstairs, and it is a fundraiser to raise funds for all of the kids going to camp, the juniors and the teens. They're going off to camp in the month of July, and camp has gotten a lot more expensive than it was when I was growing up. But I'll say this, it's worth it. It's worth it. And I had so many opportunities to go to camp. I was a teenager for about 30 years of my life. In fact, last year was the first year where I thought I wouldn't go to teen camp this year, and I still ended up at teen camp. But this year might be the first year I don't go to teen camp. We'll see. But camp is a wonderful thing, and so I hope that these young people will go, and I pray that you'll help them with that. We'll have a wonderful fellowship downstairs after the morning service next Sunday, a spaghetti dinner downstairs, and all the funds, proceeds, donations will go towards helping these young people get to camp. Let's pray for the offering this morning. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to give to you. And Lord, we pray that you would take this offering and use it as you see fit. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for that offertory, Gideon. In just a moment, we're going to be in Job chapter 1 in our Bibles. If you have your Bible with you and you'd like to turn to Job chapter 1, we'll look at the first 5 verses together here in just a moment. But at this time, I believe we have a men's trio coming to sing, and we're looking forward to hearing this song and the truth that it contains. Would you pray for these gentlemen as they sing this morning?
From the moment Jesus saved me, my life has not been the same, for he cleansed and changed me through the mighty power of his name, and my tongue shall ever praise him for a life brand new. And what he did for me that day, he'll do for you, he'll do for you. My life was empty, I had no joy or peace within, discouraged and defeated, bound by chains of sin. But then I heard the message that Jesus died for me, and through him I could reign eternally. From the moment Jesus saved me, my life has not been the same, for he cleansed and changed me through the mighty power of his name, and my tongue shall ever praise him for a life brand new. And what he did for me that day, he'll do for you, he'll do for you. I now have victory through Jesus Christ, my Lord and King. My sins have been forgiven, that is why I sing. The Savior walks beside me, I trust him day by day, for my Lord is the life, the truth, the way. From the moment Jesus saved me, my life has not been the same, for he cleansed and changed me through the mighty power of his name, and my tongue shall ever praise him for a life brand new. and what he did for me that day, he'll do for you, he'll do for you.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was wonderful. Job chapter 1 in our Bibles. I think we should put those guys on the schedule more often. What do you think? Amen. Job chapter 1. We're going to begin reading in verse number 1, and we'll read down to verse number 5. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yoke of oxen and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. You know, we celebrate today Father's Day. And as I stated earlier, being a father is a great privilege, but it's also a great responsibility. And I think if you were to ask every dad in here, they would say, I want to be the best father I can be for my sons. If you were to ask grandfathers, I think they would say, I want to be the best grandfather I can be for my grandchildren. And today, as our example, I'd like for us to look at the story of Job. Now, most of the time when we look at the story of Job, we think of Job in his suffering. We think of Job as a man of integrity who sinned not with his lips, who went through great trials, and yet didn't turn his back on God. But tonight I would like to draw your attention to Job as a father. Job as a faithful father. And see his example from the scripture here this morning. First, I'd like to draw attention to Job's character. Look at the description of Job's character in verse number 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect. Now, if that word perfect meant what we think the word perfect means in our modern day vernacular, none of us would be qualified to be a father. There is no perfect father other than God the Father. There's no perfect person. There's no sinless person. This carries with it the idea not of sinless, but it carries the idea of spiritual maturity. Here's a man who lived in integrity. Here's a man who loved the Lord. Here's a man who was striving to be right with God. Why is it so important, fathers, for us to be men of integrity? Well, I'll say this, because kids can spot a fake and a phony like that. It's amazing. You can't fool children. They know. They can see right through you. And I've said before, I'll say it again, the do as I say, not as I do method of parenting rarely succeeds. And so it is vital that we be men of integrity. Now, as I stated earlier, this message will be geared primarily to fathers, and yet, let's be honest, shouldn't every Christian be a person of integrity? Shouldn't every Christian be growing in spiritual maturity? And so while I'm going to speak primarily to fathers this morning, allow the Holy Spirit to speak to your heart this morning, even if you're not a father, about these godly characteristics. Job's character says, first of all, he had spiritual maturity. He was perfect. He was upright. So this idea of perfect talks about right character. The word upright talks about right conduct. Going straight and pleasing the Lord in my actions. So we see he's upright in his character, he's upright in his conduct, and then it says he's one that feared God. He's one that feared God. Now we explain this oftentimes by saying this is not a fear of God in the sense that I'm afraid of God. I'm afraid of what God's going to do to me, but rather a reverential respect for God, reverence for God. And yet I do think there is a healthy fear of consequences in our life. God promises that whom He loves, He will chastise. He cares too much about His children to allow them to stay in sin and suffer the consequences of sin. And so He will bring chastisement into His children's life. And so there should be somewhat of a fear of consequences, but I think it speaks more of a fear of disappointing God. This idea that we would have in our marriage or for somebody that we love, and we would say, I don't want to say that because I don't want to hurt the one that I love. I don't want to do that because I don't want to hurt the one that I love. We see that in an earthly form when we speak of marriages or we speak of families, that I don't want to do anything that will hurt my family or shame my family or hurt my spouse. I want to do what will make them happy, what will please them, what will be best for them. And that, in essence, is what we talk about when we talk about the fear of the Lord. This reverence for God, this love for God that says, I know I could sin, but I don't want to do anything that would shame the name of Christ. I know I can sin, but I don't want to do anything that would harm my testimony for the Lord. I don't want to do anything that would become between my soul and the Savior. I want to live a life that's pleasing in His sight. The Bible speaks much about the fear of the Lord. Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 9:10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Proverbs 10:27, the fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. Proverbs 14:27, days. 14:27, the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life to depart from the snares of death. Proverbs 15:33, the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Proverbs 16:6, by mercy and truth iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. Proverbs 19:23, the fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. We see the fear of the Lord referenced over and over again throughout the book of Proverbs, and we know that it's the beginning of knowledge, it's the beginning of wisdom, and that it'll keep us from that which is evil. And so as a father, not only should I have a fear of God, but I should be instilling in my children a fear of the Lord and a love for the Lord. What's the best thing that I can do for my children? Oh, that's a loaded question. Right now, we're kind of talking about being an example. But do you know what I want for my children more than anything? I want them to know the Lord. I want them to love the Lord with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their mind and with all their strength. And I want them to surrender to the Lord and follow His will for their life. What a blessed life that is. Every parent, when they have small children, should be praying for the day that their child would trust Jesus Christ as their own personal Savior. Every parent should be praying for their child to love God more and to be more like Jesus and to follow His will for their life and to surrender to what He calls them to do. That should be the prayer of a parent for a child. And so we see here, not only did he have a fear of the Lord, I think we'll see in a moment that he instilled in his children a fear of God as well. Oh, he was spiritually mature and he was right in his conduct. He feared the Lord and he eschewed evil. Eschewed means to turn aside, to depart from, to avoid. This is the example that Job gave to his children. A man of righteous character and a man of right conduct. Now, I'm not going to have you turn there for sake of time, but in Deuteronomy chapter 6 is a passage we go to often when we speak of fathers and parenting. And in Deuteronomy 6:6, God said, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children." Now, parents are supposed to teach their children biblical principles. We're supposed to teach them, as I said a moment ago, to know God, to love God, and to serve God. And we see that in Deuteronomy chapter 6. We see that in Ephesians. Father, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Over and over again in the Bible, we see that parents are to direct their children towards God. But do you know what comes before Deuteronomy chapter 6? If you're a Bible scholar and you've been to seminary, if you have a PhD, you might know the answer. Do you know what comes before Deuteronomy chapter 6? Deuteronomy chapter 5. You're on it. And do you know what God said in Deuteronomy 5 and Deuteronomy 4? This is what he's saying to the parents. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments which I command thee, that ye may learn them and keep and do them. Ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your God hath commanded you. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye might do them, to keep all his statutes and his commandments. Observe to do it. And then he said this, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. Do you know what he says to fathers before they teach their children with their mouths? He said, you're already teaching them with your lives. Show them that you believe it by obeying it. Show them that you believe it by living it. Because the truth is, they're going to learn more from your walk than they are from your talk. They're going to follow what they see in you more than they're going to follow what you say. And so it better be clear to us, like Job, that I am setting an example for my whole family to follow. And what was that example that Job set? A man of righteous character, a man of right conduct, a man who feared the Lord and served the Lord, and a man who avoided evil. I hope the same can be said in my home. Because it's what my children deserve. It's what my children need. And it's what your children need too. Your grandchildren. A man and his young son were climbing a mountain. They came to a place where the climbing was difficult and it was even a little bit dangerous. The father stopped, knowing the seriousness of the moment, to consider which way he should go. And while he was pondering his path, he heard his son behind him say, choose the good path, Dad. I'm coming right behind you. I think that's true of children. They're following our example. Seeing Job's character, now let's look at Job's care for his children in verses 2 through 5. Job's care for his children. Look at verse 2 with me if you would. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. He'd even have Walt Moe and Josh Pruden beat for the most children. 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen and 500 she-asses, and a very great household. And then look what it says at the end of verse 3. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. So in man's eyesight, if they were to look at Job and all of his possessions and the blessing of his family, the people of his day would have looked at him and said, there's nobody like Job. God's blessing is upon this man. There's nobody who has what Job has. Verse number 4, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Now, look at it with me as we think of Job's care for his children. I'd see, first of all, his children grew up in a holy. God said, be ye holy, for I, the Lord thy God, am holy. And so we are to strive for holiness, to be set apart from sin, and to live sanctified lives. But they not only grew up in a holy household, they grew up in a happy household. Do you know the devil has told us a lie?
that if you live for God, you won't be able to enjoy life. If you live for God, you're going to miss out on all the fun that other people get to have. If you live for God, your life might end up being miserable. Now, I don't believe in the health and wealth and prosperity gospel that if you just get saved, everything in your life is going to be hunky-dory and you'll never have a problem ever again. That's not what the Bible teaches. But I do believe that the most joyful and fulfilling life that a human can live is found in the center of God's will. This idea that you can't enjoy life unless you're in sin, you can't enjoy life unless you're out doing evil, you can't enjoy life unless you're disobeying God, is a lie from the devil. And what we find here is these people grew up in a holy household where they were taught to love God. These 10 kids. And yet, what do we see them do when they're adults here? They're getting together with their family, they're feasting, and they're having a good time. You say, no, they can't be having a good time. They're Christians. This idea that you're not right with God unless you walk around looking like you're sucking on a lemon, that's not biblical. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy. God wants you to have a joy unspeakable and full of glory. We can have a joy that this world can never understand. And so we don't have to be miserable to be right with God. I believe God wants us to enjoy the journey. I heard that somewhere before. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to copyright it. God wants us to have joy in this life. I don't think his children were doing anything wrong here. It says, and his sons, verse 4, went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day. That means one son would host it one time, and on another day, another son would host it. And maybe these were birthday celebrations or different feasts they had throughout the year, but they shared the responsibility, and they invited the whole family together. In fact, these kids actually liked each other. How many ever lived in a home before where you thought two of the siblings were going to murder each other? How many of you were one of those siblings? No, I'm not. You put your hand down. Here, these kids actually get along. Now, I know they're adults now, but they actually like each other. They have something in common. They don't just share the same last name. I don't even know if they had a last name at this point, but they don't just share the same bloodline, the same family, but they share the same God. And here they enjoy getting together and celebrating together. As we think of his care for his children, would you think of his priorities? Look back with me at verse number 3. Verse 2 talks about his 7 sons, his 3 daughters. Verse 3 talks about his 7,000 sheep, his 3,000 camels, his 500 yoke of oxen, and his 500 she-asses. And what you read in verse number 5 is not that he's concerned about the sheep, the camels, the oxen, or the asses. Who is his priority? We've seen his priority is God in verse number 1, and we see next to God his priority is his family. We don't see here that he went out to check on his sheep, or he went out to check on his oxen, he went out there to check on his camels, he went out there to check on his donkeys. We don't see that there. We see that his concern was, I want to live for God, and I want to help my children live for God. And we see that down in verse number 5. It was so when the days of their feasting were gone about that Job sent and sanctified them and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Now, we could talk about what this phrase curse God means, but some mean that just they may have forgotten God in their celebration. They may have failed to praise God the way that they should. They may have failed to please God the way that they should. They may have even eaten something that had been ordered to false idols and by that sinned against God. And so he's looking at this and saying they may have done something. He doesn't know this. He doesn't assume this, but he thinks they might have done something to displease the Lord. And so what does he do? He makes intercession for them, doesn't he? This is back before the Aaronic priesthood, and This is back before the Levites and all of these things. This is one of the earliest books written in the Bible. And so here's a man that he's being the priest for his own home. He's being the spiritual leader in his own home. He's offering up sacrifices for his own home. He's offering up petitions to the Lord for his own home. Now, we're not going to offer up sacrifices in the same sense, where we're going to burn some kind of sacrifice for the Lord. But I'll tell you this, what would be the modern day equivalent of this? Here's a man who prayed on behalf of his children. In 1 Samuel 12 and 23, Samuel wasn't even talking about his children. He was talking to the children of Israel. But he says this, "Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you. But I will teach you the good and the right way. Only fear the Lord and serve Him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great things He had done for you." You know what Samuel said? Samuel said, I believe that if I don't pray for God's children, that I'm sinning against God. Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you. He was a spiritual leader in that country, and he said, if I don't pray for my flock, I believe that I'm sinning against God. Well, let me ask you this question. Don't you think we could use the same principle for the flock that God gave us at home? For the family that we steward and that we lead? Douglas MacArthur said, by profession I am a soldier and take pride in that fact. But I am prouder, infinitely prouder, to be a father. A soldier destroys in order to build. A father only builds, never destroys. The one has the potential of death. The other embodies creation of life. And while the hordes of death are mighty, the battalions of life are mightier still. It is my hope that my son, when I am gone, will remember me not from the battle, but in the home, repeating with him our simple daily prayers. God wants me to be an example to my children. God wants fathers to be an example to their children. But He also wants us to care for our children. And one of the best ways that we can care for them is to lift them up in our prayers and to bring them before God. Job's care, Job's character. Now, let's look at Job's commitment to God. Would you look at verse number 20 of Job chapter 1, verse number 20. We know what happens. If you know the story well, you know that he loses pretty much all of his possessions and even loses his family other than his wife. When the news comes to him, verse number 20, then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. By the time you come to verse number 9 of chapter 2, he's lost his health as well. And look at verse number 9 of chapter 2. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Job did not lose his integrity. He did not curse God. He did not sin with his lips. He did not turn his back on God. He was committed to his relationship with God. The rest of the book is a conversation between Job, his friends, but most of it is a conversation between Job and God. By the time you come to the concluding chapter, chapter 42, verses 1 through 6, do you know what Job is still doing? He's still talking to God, and he's still praising God. I wish that I was always consistent in every aspect of my life. My wife, she was a consistent student. She always studied. And she always put forth effort. She always did her best. You can, by listening to me, you can assume okay? My effort in school was inconsistent. I make resolutions, and like most Americans, Within 30 days, a lot of times I don't follow through with the resolution. How many of you have ever started a workout program before? You started exercising before? Yeah. There's a handful of people in here who've been consistent at it, not me. How many of you have ever started a diet before? There's a handful of people in here who've been consistent at it, not me. I was having a snack pack chocolate pudding last night on the couch at 10 o'clock at night. That's the way to stay healthy. I struggle to stay consistent at diets. I struggle to stay consistent at workout programs. And if we're not careful, we can struggle to even be consistent in our walk with God. In our devotional life, in our prayer life, in our witness. But can I tell you, I believe with all my heart that the young man sitting back there at the sound booth and the young man who's supposed to be sitting right there, and I don't know where he is. I think he's in the nursery, in the little Tykes class. They are consistently watching. And what that means is I can't afford to be inconsistent in my walk with God. There needs to be a commitment there. We see his character, we see his care for his children, we see his commitment. In conclusion, I want to show you a picture. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and if we could pull that picture up, gentlemen, I'd appreciate that. I've told you about this picture before. I've never shown it to you. This is one of my favorite pictures. Landon told me it's one of his favorite pictures too. He said when he does his senior board, he wants that picture. He wants to find it. He wants it up on his board. You notice that Brett is locked in on me. He's watching Dad. I don't know what Landon's looking at. Looking at the trees, the butterflies, I'm not sure. But they're following Dad step for step. They're like little ducklings. And if Dad took a ride on the soccer field that day, do you know what they did? They took a ride on the soccer field. And if I took a left, they took a left. And if I hopped in a vehicle, they hopped in a vehicle. They were following Dad everywhere he goes. And that's a simple picture, but it is a humbling picture. And it is a sobering thought. Because they've been following their whole life. They've been watching how Dad treats people. They've been watching how Dad treats Mom in the home. They've been watching how Dad responds when something goes poorly. They've been watching how Dad uses and spends his time. They've been watching Dad's work ethic. And it's a sobering thought. Because they're following our example. May Lord help us to say, hey, I'm going to be 100% committed to my walk with the Lord. I'm going to try to grow in godly character and the image and likeness of Jesus Christ by yielding to the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to try to live in obedience to the Word of God and the will of God. And I'm going to care for my family by doing the best thing I can. And the best thing I can do for them is to point them to a Father who is much greater than I am. I will fail them. He will never fail them one time. My love for them is great, but greater love hath no man than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends. And Jesus didn't die for friends. He died for us while we were yet sinners. Every person is born dead in their trespasses and sins, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, for there is none righteous, no, not one. We all fall short of God's glory. We all fall short of His perfect standard. But as we sang in that song today, His robes for mine, He willingly laid down His life on the cross for us. He became sin for us so that we could be reconciled to God and be made the righteousness of God in Him. And what a wonderful Savior we have. And the best thing that I can do for my children, oh man, I want to teach them so much. And I enjoy when we go golfing together, and I enjoy when we play pickleball together, and I enjoy when we play cornhole together. And I enjoy, I think I'm the only one who enjoys it, but I enjoy when we play aggravation together. I enjoy playing with my children. I enjoy spending time with my children. I enjoy talking to my children. But what I want to enjoy with them more than anything is enjoy eternity with my children. I want them to know Jesus Christ. And I want to be able to enjoy their adult years, having no greater joy than seeing my children live in obedience to God. And I don't think I'm the only one who wants that. I think if we were to do a poll in the room this morning of every father and every mother, I think every parent and every grandparent in the room would say, that's what I want for my kids. I want them to love God and live for God and avoid sin and avoid the scars of sin and enjoy the blessing of God upon their life. That's what I want for my kids. How do you get that? You got to be intentional about it. You got to understand they're watching your every move. And you're setting an example for them to follow. And the best way that you can care for your children is to pray for your children, to lift them up before the Lord. Oh, you can provide for them, you can protect them, but when you pray, God can do things for them that you can't. And then stay consistent, committed to the Lord in your life, so that they can see what a life looks like that is fully sold out to God. Would you bow your heads with me? We're going to have a word of prayer in just a moment. If you bow your heads and close your eyes. I'd like to ask just a couple questions before the piano plays and before we have a verse of invitation. How many of you are rejoicing this morning that even though maybe your father wasn't perfect, maybe he was a great man, but he wasn't perfect, and even though you're not perfect, how many are rejoicing this morning that you know you have a perfect Heavenly Father and you know you're part of His family through the shed blood of Jesus Christ? You are assured that you are saved and that you are on your way to heaven, and you're rejoicing in that. Would you raise your hand with me? Nice and high. I know I'm saved and I'm rejoicing in my salvation this morning. You can put your hands down. Thank you. I wonder if there's some in the room who couldn't raise their hand this morning. I couldn't see every hand, but is there anyone here today who says, I'm not sure that I'm saved. I'm not sure that God's my Heavenly Father. I'm not sure that heaven is my home. Preacher, would you pray for me this morning? I don't know if I'm saved, but I would like to be. Would you pray for me? Is there anyone like that this morning? Would you slip your hand up? You can slip it up and slip it back down. I won't embarrass you. I won't call you out by name. I just want to pray for you. I'm not sure I'm saved, but I would like to be. By testimony, I believe that everybody in the room claims to be a Christian, and so I'll ask you this, and I'll speak specifically to fathers, and I know that the Holy Spirit could have spoken to other hearts as well, but I'll speak specifically to fathers. How many of you would say, Preacher, God spoke to my heart this morning, and I want to be obedient? Would you pray for me? Is there anyone like that here this morning? God spoke to my heart this morning, and I want to be obedient. Would you pray for me? Hands up all over the room in every single section. Thank you for raising your hands. Father, I pray for these who raise their hands. Lord, none of us are perfect. None of us are sinless. Only Jesus was a spotless Lamb of God. Yet, Lord, all of us, I believe, want to live for you. We want to have a life that honors and pleases you. I pray for these many who raise their hands here this morning. Lord, we count it as such a privilege to have children in our home, and I know others count it a privilege to have grandchildren. Oh, Lord, would you help us to be obedient to the Scripture, to be the men and women of character that you want us to be, that we might be a godly example to our families and to our communities. Would you help us to be prayer warriors? And in those moments where we can't turn a heart and we can't reach a heart, help us to bring them to you and to trust you to do what we cannot. Help us, I pray, to finish strong. Help grandchildren to see grandparents who are committed to you and consistent in their walk with you, who continue in the faith. Lord, who are shining lights and testimonies of your grace. Would you help us to be obedient during this time of invitation, we pray, and we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. I'd invite you to stand to your feet. If God's spoken in your heart, Leah's going to play here on the piano, and Gideon's going to sing a verse. The altar is open. I see others coming already, and we won't be in a hurry this morning. If God's spoken to your heart, would you be obedient during this time of invitation?
Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to Thee. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of Thy love, at the impulse of Thy love. Take my feet and let them be swift and beautiful for Thee. Take my voice and let me sing, always only for my King, always only for my King. Take my lips and let them be filled with messages for Thee. Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold, not a mite would I withhold. Take my love, my God, I pour at Thy feet, its treasure store. Take myself and I will be ever only all for Thee, ever only all for Thee.
Look up this way, and thank you for being here this morning, and thank you for your attention today. I trust that you have a wonderful day, and try to spoil those dads as much as you can today. I say that a little biasly because I'm a dad. Now, have a wonderful time celebrating Father's Day today, and we'll pray before we leave here and ask for the Lord's safety as we leave, and we'll meet again tonight at 6 p.m. We invite you to come back. But I do want to make you aware that we have a couple coming to join the church this morning. It's their desire to unite with Cranberry Baptist Church. And they've been visiting for a while here, and they said they want to make this their church home. It's Gene and Rose Harvey. If you guys could just raise your hand in the air, all right, sitting right down here in the front. And they're not going to come stand in the front, but if you want to come by and say hi to them and greet them, you can. But Gene and Rose are both saved, trust in Jesus Christ, have trusted Jesus Christ to be their Savior. They've both been scripturally baptized, and so we're excited about that. If you're excited about them coming to join Cranberry Baptist Church this morning, would you say a good hearty amen? Amen. Amen. And we are excited about that and welcome you into the fellowship. We do have a couple baptisms lined up this evening, and so we had somebody join the church last week, and a couple joined the church this morning, and some baptisms tonight. Had over 30 young people make professions of faith during Vacation Bible School. Had a great night on visitation the other night. A couple people that we were able to present the gospel to who said, I'm thinking about eternity right now, and they're praying about it. We were able to plant the seed, and just pray that the Lord continues to bless things. I'm going to ask Brother Ty to make his way forward to pray for the offering. Pray for the offering. And we're going to make you give a second time this morning. No, to pray, would you pray?
Sure.
All right. My brain is fried, all right? We already announced the Master Club activity on Monday and the changing of the teen activity on Friday, the fundraiser next Sunday, all these things. But would you pray for us as we conclude here today?
Let's pray together. Lord, we thank you and praise you, Lord, for your goodness. Thank you for the message, the challenge that was given, the reminder to each of us fathers. Lord, help us to be faithful to you, to be committed to you. Lord, I pray that you would just help us to be serious-minded about this opportunity, this responsibility. Lord, we thank you for the Harvey family joining the church this morning. Thank you, Lord, for all the decisions that were made throughout VBS and on visitation. Lord, we just give you praise for your hand of blessing upon this ministry. Lord, I pray that you would bless it if we go our separate ways. And bring us back again safely this evening. Help us keep our eyes focused on you. In Jesus' name, amen.